Everybody welcome the cast of Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves, starting with Chris Pine. Woo!
Pick it up. We have to hug. We got to hug. Yeah. High five. We already hugged. Yes, San Diego!
Woo! Next up, Michelle Rodriguez.
I love it.
Regé-Jean Page. Fantastic jacket. He's wearing a fantastic jacket. Sophia Lillis.
Yeah!
And to round it off, Hugh Grant.
There's one game, like in high school, I thought to myself, like that should be played in every single high school or school across the nation. It should be D&D. Because don't you think it's like you can get the bully and the jock, and of course I only speak in John Hughes terms, all in a room, and I guarantee you in 20 minutes, no one will remember what kind of, class they came from or who their best friends are and who the dork is and all that stuff. They just want to play and have a laugh. And that, I saw that so distinctly and so clearly, it became, I just thought it was such a great world and an energy that I wanted to put out into the world, is to spread the gospel of D&D.
Having like some real cool, animatronics on set is really helpful. It just makes you really feel like you're part of what's going on, and you get to see the artists, man, do their thing. It's beautiful. It was really cool. Yeah, it just brought back all these memories, of being a kid in a basement, goofing off with my friends. It's a beautiful experience, and I think role-playing games are awesome, and I think more people should do them.
And she kicks ass in this movie.
Boy, that is true.
Literally just the best time you could possibly imagine in this job. I spent time training and slaying dragons, you know what I mean? Woo! That's what I got. I know a little something about escapist fantasy that gives you no limits, that gives you kind of this big open world of possibility that may not necessarily always be open to you in your real life, but it is there the second you get a group of people together. And I find that in a slightly less inspiring way than our leader over here, kind of by the same thing. I've always found role-playing games super inspiring in that way, so that's the way I came in.
How nice to be here. How nice to be at Comic-Con.
Believe it or not, this is Hugh's first Comic-Con.
Yes. Thank you.
And next year we'll all
we did
visit
try to
Hugh's
come
dungeon.
with Sense and Sensibility, but we were turned away.
We can start with Hugh. What class do you think that you would be if you were sucked into Dungeons & Dragons?
The highest class.
Let's bring up one of the producers of the film, a filmmaker behind a handful of movies you may have heard of before: Iron Man, The Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, Spider-Man: Homecoming. Give it up for Jeremy Latcham.
What's up, man?
Next, please welcome the film's directing and screenwriting duo. They've written Horrible Bosses, Spider-Man: Homecoming, and directed Game Night. Here's Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis Daley.
I had been an avid player since I was 14 years old when I was an actor on the show Freaks and Geeks. And oh, thank you. Thanks a lot. And my character was a geek, and he was a huge fan of Dungeons and Dragons. I had known peripherally about it, so I decided, being the young method actor that I was, to play a campaign with the fellow cast members. And immediately I fell in love with the world, because as you guys know, anyone who plays Dungeons and Dragons is not just a game. It is really the feeling that you get when you play the game, and that really is what we tried to do here with this film. That sense of camaraderie, family, coming together as a group, facing obstacles that you don't know what to expect. I mean, so many things that, much to the chagrin of the DM, doesn't know what's going to happen. And so that is what we wanted to capture. And of course, that very unique brand of humor that I think sets us apart from anything else in the fantasy space. So it was a real excitement for us. We have dozens of monsters and creatures in this movie, and dozens and dozens of spells as well, if that interests anyone. And they are all true to the lore. And it was really fun kind of figuring out what would work best within the context of what we were watching. And
We worked at every step of the way with the Wizards of the Coast, who were an invaluable resource for us from before, when we were writing the script all the way through production, to try and make sure that what we were doing was in line with the lore. So, I think for hardcore fans, hopefully they'll see, the reality of the game reflected in there. And for those who don't know the game very well, it's still going to work because it's a fun movie.
For me, the thing that is the theme that I think always binds us when we watch a movie is this sense of family, of found family, of finding like this group of people and kind of connecting with them. And like, that's what makes Guardians, That's what makes the Avengers. And I think you look at like these groups that come together and the personalities clash and they face a giant obstacle, and then they have to kind of become a family over the course of it. I know it sounds like kind of, but I'm a very emotional guy. So it is kind of just the thing I love the most. And what this journey has is really that, because these folks don't really all belong together, and they've learned to love each other, and I feel like I've fallen completely in love with this cast along the way because of it, and it's really, really fun to watch.
It's really fun, I know it's 2 or 3 years since it's been a live event, so you could feel the energy in the audience and the excitement to be back around human beings, and I think that the film that we're here to represent is all in the good vibes, positive, fun, buoyant energy category, which I think, given some of what's going on in the world, it's nice to come out with something that's fun and makes people smile.
What a relief! In my case, I thought they wouldn't know who I was. I've never done a film as a monster or any of that kind of thing. So I thought there would be sepulchral silence, but they were very nice, and they really laughed at the clip.
They really did. Yeah,
yes.
I really liked it.
There's no faking that.
No. This is a story about Dungeons and Dragons that's not people role-playing as one would play the game. This is actually inside the game as if it were alive, so to speak. So the characters are living their own lives within the story.
I mean, if there's no better place to bring a Dungeons and Dragons feature, well, you definitely have to believe in it to bring it here, because otherwise you're just opening yourself up, right, for wounds? Fingers crossed, man, that we get some love out here, because there's definitely a lot of hard work that went into it. John and Jonathan really put their heart and soul into it. The art department really put their heart and soul into it. Legacy really put their heart and soul into it. All us actors really came and brought our game. And so I'm just hoping that we didn't, step on anybody's feet in the process, and that, that they like us. Dude, it was so sweet. We got a packed house. Bro, a lot of them were sitting there in the audience and I was intimidated. I was like, uh-oh. And then we got the cheers, we got the love, and it felt good, I gotta say. A labor of love and respect. The most important bit is the respect bit. Because a lot of times, people buy IP and they make the IP, and then it sucks because they just bought the IP to make money. They didn't buy the IP because they want to make art. And so that's the difference, I think. You know, John and Jonathan really want to show some love. They want to make art. And so, you know, we all came to the game to like help them out. And so I hope you guys like it.
Ridiculously excited. There's no limit to how excited we are about this movie. It's fun, it's expansive, it's about limitless possibility and imagination and just having such a good time while you're doing it. So I couldn't be more excited about this. There's something so unique about being able to feel people's enthusiasm and excitement in person. It's the first Hall H back in I think like 3 years. And so people were craving that sense of community and being able to come together over a film that is such a feel-good movie, that is so full of humor and adventure all at once. I don't think that you could come back with anything better than this. Almost literally everything. There are dungeons, there are dragons, there is camaraderie, there is imagination, there's friendship, there's a lot of humor, there's a lot of heart. And I think that that's certainly what I've been looking for at the cinema recently. And so I think it's a great trip out with your family and friends.
Fantastic. I'm so glad people are, it has such a big fan base. And I was shocked. We just did a panel and I walked outside and it was just completely packed. And I didn't know what to expect, but that was great. Just getting to see these people who are really excited to see this thing that we made. This movie is made for everybody, but it's also especially made for these people. This is going to be our main audience. So getting to see all these amazing people who love D&D and just complete fans of the game, like loving our film, that's what we're hoping for. There's a lot of humor. Chris Pine, Michelle, everyone actually is just hilarious in this film. And I think it's just there's a lot of heart going into it. A lot of people who just love the franchise, love the show, and love the game. Just put all of their work and all of their heart into it, and I think they did such a good job.
This has been a labor of love for us for nearly 3 years. We've been working on this thing nonstop, and to finally put it in front of an audience and not be quite so much in our bubble and creating it has been the biggest and most thrilling moment in the last 3.5 years.
Especially this audience, because these people are so primed for this movie. You know, it's right up their alley, and to see 5,000-6,000 people in that Hall H cheering for it was totally gratifying for us.
We hoped to expect that they would have this strong reaction, but it was so nice to see that, like, we were very much speaking their language in the choices that we made tonally, and the monsters and the magic and all the things in between. So finally seeing it come to fruition has just been a dream come true for us.
I think it's a combination of the greatest parts of playing a Dungeons & Dragons game. It's adventurous and exciting and thrilling, and the stakes are enormous, but it's also fun and funny and emotional. I think there's a lot of heart, more than people would be expecting in a movie like this. And so I think there's something for everybody in it, and I think it's going to be a ton of fun and nothing too serious and not too heavy at any point.
Well, we've got Chris Pine, who plays Edgin Darvis. He's a bard in the film, and he's very much the sort of cheerleader to the group. He motivates them and kind of inspires them to continue, even in the face of the worst obstacles. And who else?
We've got Michelle Rodriguez, who plays Holga, a barbarian, and Sophia Lillis, who is Doric, who's a druid tiefling. We've got Justice Smith, who is a sorcerer.
Regé-Jean Page, who plays a paladin, and then Hugh Grant, who is our rogue.
I've been coming to Comic-Con since a little Paramount film that came out in 2008 called Iron Man 1. That was the first film I ever was a producer on, and so I've been living in the Hall H ecosystem since I was but a child. And so to finally be at Comic-Con, at Hall H, on the stage with a movie that I love and care so deeply about was beyond overwhelming. You have to make a movie that's going to work for everybody. And the main way to do that is making sure you make a movie that works for the people that love it the most. Because if you can't make them excited, how are you ever going to make everyone else love it? The main thing to do, I think, when making one of these types of films, when taking a piece of material like Dungeons & Dragons,
this lore that's existed for 50 years is you have to treat it really respectfully and really love it and really dive into it and really do the homework because it's cool. There's a reason it's endured for longer than I've been alive, and it's because it's cool.